Hi, good morning. Today let us discuss second chapter of Diploma Automobile Engineering, Design of Machinery subject. This is the second topic, shafts. Let us discuss about shafts. So in this chart, we are going to discuss classification of shafts. The objectives of this chapter, today's lesson will be on completion of this lesson you would be able to acquaint with the general applications of shafts, understand the shafts and their classification also, shaft materials and stresses and small quiz. In this lesson, we are going to discuss all these objectives. Let us see one by one. General applications where we are going to use. If you see, in many areas, we are going to use shafts. So, in case of cycle, bicycle, if you see, here is one shaft and also another shaft. So, in bicycle also we are going to use shafts. Similarly, gear pump, in case of gear pump also, this is the drive shaft. We are going to use in case of gear pumps also. And these are the different parts of suction port, drive gear, case seal, idle gear, idler gear, and also bushings, pressure ports, mounting flange, etc. And this all these are going to be driven by the shaft, drive shafts. In hollow shaft assembly, hollow shaft assembly, here in this case, this may be the electrical motor and all these. In electrical motors also, we are going to use shafts, and also bikes. In case of bikes, we are going to use shafts, and clutch assembly also we are going to see the drive shafts which is used to drive the automobile, and propeller shaft which is the most important in automobile industry. In case of four wheelers, the propeller shaft will be more important, and this will be used, and this will have universal coupling at the one end and another universal coupling at another end. And here this will be the spine shaft. So here in this we are going to use this propeller shaft to transmit power from engine to the drive transmission system. So this propeller shaft is mainly used in case of automobile industry, and also in case of turbines, whether it may be of water turbine or it may be of steam turbine, whichever it is. But in both the cases, we are going to use shafts, and over which we are going to mount blades, moving blades. So we can generate power, and this power can be transmitted to the generator, electrical generator. So that means from the turbine we are going to use the shaft, and this will be used to transmit power from this shaft to the electrical generator. And in this case we are going to mount over the shaft moving blades. That means in the turbine we are going to convert heat energy into mechanical energy in case of turbine, whereas in case of generator, we are going to transfer this mechanical energy into electrical energy. And if you see in the previous applications also, in this case, also we are going to transmit heat energy into mechanical energy, whereas in case of electrical motors, we are going to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. And similarly, in the bicycle also, we are going to convert muscle energy, human muscle energy into mechanical energy to drive the cycle. So all these are the different applications, and which maybe more applications are also there. Along with this, so many applications are there for shafts. So here also a shaft which is used to drive the impeller. That means it is in case of water turbines. In case of water turbines, also we are going to use shaft for running of the impeller. That means number of blades are mounted over the shafts so that we can generate water energy, hydraulic energy into mechanical energy and then into electrical energy. Right? These are the some of the applications in case of bicycles, gear pumps, turbines, propeller shafts, etc. We are in all these cases we are going to use the shaft. So with these applications we can define what is meant by shaft. So let us define the shaft. So here in this case, a shaft is a rotating machine element. A shaft is a rotating machine element which is used to transmit power from one place to the another place. Which is used to transmit power from one place to another place by mounting either the pulleys or the gates, etc., over the pulley, over the shaft. Sorry. So shaft is a rotating machine element which is used to transmit power from one place to another place. So shafts are generally made of circular section. Mostly, they are made of circular section, and they may be either the solid shape or maybe hollow shape also. That means hollow shafts may be there and also solid shafts may be there, and these shafts are supported by bearings, and the shafts are supported by bearings. So power is delivered to the shafts by some tangential force, and the resultant torque or twisting moment set up within the shaft permits the power to be transmitted to various machines. It means the shaft receives tangential force and that will be converted into twisting moment or the torque. In turn, that is transmitted to the another place, that in form of power to the various machines. In case of So, in order to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft, the various members such as pulleys, gears, etc. are mounted on it by means of keys and splines. That means these keys are mainly used, either the splines are used to prevent the relative motion between the pulley and shaft. The keys or the splines are used while mounting the gates or pulleys, even flywheels also, to prevent the relative motion between the shaft and its mountings. So that's why in order to transmit power from one place to another place, you have to mount either the pulleys or the gears or sometimes flywheels also on the shaft by means of keys and splines. And the pulleys and gears along with the forces exert upon them causes the shaft subjected to bending moments. That means due to transmission of power, the shaft is subjected to twisting moment of the torque, and due to mounting of the pulleys and gears, etc., it is subjected to bending moment. That means the shafts are subjected to both twisting moment due to the power transmission, and due to the mountings, it will be subjected to bending moments, right? So, in other words, the shaft is used for the transmission of torque and bending moments. Torque and bending moments. So, next is this is all about the shafts and axle. Axle. That means previously shaft is a rotating machine element, whereas the axle is not a rotating machine element, and it is also of the similar shape of the shaft, but here only the difference is it is not going to transmit any power to any other member, but it will just support the rotating elements, and it will support the rotating element. That's why it is a stationary machine element, whereas the shaft is the rotating element, and whereas this is the stationary machine element, and that is going to transmit, the shaft is going to transmit power from one place to another place, but whereas the axle just supports the rotating elements, but they do not transmit any power. So it is used for transmission of only bending movements, but not torque. And it is used to just transmit the bending moment only, but not torque. So that means if you want to design axle, only you have to design this for bending moment only, but not torque. Whereas the shafts are to be designed for both torque as well as bending moment. Spindle. It is also similar to the shafts, and simply we can say this is the hollow shaft, but it is a short one, and this is mounted within the machine itself. Within the machine itself, that means a spindle is a short shaft that imparts motion to either to the cutting tool or to the working piece. So, if you see the drilling machine, in case of drilling machine, the spindle is used to mount the cutting tool in the hole provided in the spindle. That means that the spindle will rotate and the tool will be supporting, and the tool is also going to rotate along with the shaft, and we can drill the hole. Whereas in case of lathe machine, and it is going to use to hold the workpiece, and that will rotate along with the spindle. It is also a rotating element, but it is very short, and it is going to support the, that means impart the motion to the either the cutting tool or the workpiece. So right, and here you can see the difference between shaft, axle, and the spindle. All are looking like a shaft, but in case of shafts, it is subjected to twisting movements, and due to mountings, it is subjected to bending movements. Whereas The axle is a stationary member and the shaft is a rotating member, and axle supports the rotating machine elements, whereas the shaft supports the either the pulley or gears, and the shaft is subjected to twisting movement and bending movements, whereas the axle is subjected to only bending movements, and the shaft is used to transmit the power from one place to another place and also bending movements, whereas the axle is used to transmit only bending movement but not torque. In case of spindle, just it is a short one. It is also similar to the shaft, but it is only imparts the motion to the either cutting tool or to the workpiece, and also it is the integral part of the machinery. The spindle is a integral part of the machine. So these are the some differences between the shaft, axle, and the spindle. So let us see the classifications of shafts. How to classify the shafts? So shafts are broadly classified according to their uh, function and physical appearance. That means they are classified based on function and physical appearance. Let us see one by one. In the classification according to the function. Transmission shaft. Function means where we are going to use its working style. So here in this case, according to their function, number one is transmission shafts. Number two is machine shafts. Number one is transmission shafts. Number two is machine shafts. And now let us see the transmission shafts. These shafts are mainly used for transmitting the power from source to the different machines which are absorbing the power. Once again, you can see these are mainly used to transmit the power from source. That means it receives the power from the source. That may be the electric motor or the IC engine, whatever it is. And from there, it is going to transmit to the machinery, which is going to absorb the power. So these shafts are once again classified, divided into line shafts, jog shafts, counter shafts, other overhead shafts, and all factory shafts. And these are the transmission shafts are different types. One is the line shafts, jog shafts, counter shafts, overhead shafts, and all other factory shafts. And comes under the transmission shafts. So let us see one by one. Line shaft. It is a long continuous shaft which receives power from the source. Receives the power from the source and distribute to the different machinery. If you see in villages, the people uses to have flour mill, chilli mill, and then rice mill also. And all these are connected to the one shaft, and that shaft receives power from the motor. If you observe all these, there are three stages are there. The motor shaft will be there, electric motor shaft will be there, and from there the power is received to a shaft which is called line shaft. Over this line shaft, different pulleys are mounted, and from this line shaft and from the pulleys, and it is distributed, the power is distributed to the rice mill and to the flour mill and to the chilli machine also. So as per the definition of the line shaft, simply we can say this line shaft receives the power from source, that means electric motor or the IC engine, and that distributes to the different machinery. As I told you, as I have given an example, to the rice mill and also flour mill and also chilli mill, right? That is a simple best example for the line shaft. And the next is jack shafts, and this is directly connected to the this jack shaft is directly connected to the power source from which the other shafts are driven. So as I told you in the previous example and village background, uh, flour mill, rice mill, and etc. The whichever the shaft is connected to the electric motor, the IC engine, that we can consider as the jack shaft. The shaft connected to the power source, that is called, say, let us the electric motor, that is called jack shaft. That means the power is supplied to the jack shaft. From there, that means the jack shaft will be the source or the driver, and the line shaft. From there, it is supplied to the line shaft, and from the line shaft, it is transmitted to the various machinery. Right? That is the best example for jack shafts and the counter shafts. And whichever the shaft is mounted on the either the rice mill or the flour mill or the maybe chilli mill. All these consist of different shafts, and they are driven by the line shaft, and the line shaft is driven by the jack shaft. And what the shaft mounted on the rice mill or the flour mill or the chilli mill, all these comes under the counter shafts. That means it receives the counter shaft receives the power from the line shaft and it transmits to the machine. So these are the different stages of transmission shafts. First is the jack shaft and the line shaft and the counter shaft. So, and line shaft receives the power from jack shaft, and jack shaft receives power from the motor itself. That means it is directly connected to the motor, and from there line shaft to the counter shaft. And then machine shaft. Machine shaft is the best example is for the machine shafts. Best example is the spindle. These shafts are an integral part of the machine itself. So as how we have discussed about the spindle, the best example for machine shaft is spindle and also crankshaft and incorporated within the machine itself. So if you see IC engines, in case of IC engines, we are having the crankshaft which receives direct power from the source itself. That means it is also placed within the machine itself. In case of lathe machine also, the spindle is mounted within the machine itself. So it is the integral part of the machine. The spindle, if you say, of the lathe and the spindle of the drilling machine, and also crankshaft of the IC engine comes under the machine shafts. So these are the different machinery available. That means different shafts based on the function. That means transmission shafts, in case of transmission shafts, line shaft, jack shafts, and also counter shafts. Whereas in case of machine shafts, the best examples are the crankshafts and also spindles. According to the physical appearance, and these are classified into cylindrical shafts. In case of cylindrical shafts, solid shafts and hollow shafts, solid shafts, hollow shafts, and splined shafts. According to the function, they are classified into transmission shafts and machine shafts. According to the physical appearance, cylindrical shafts and spline shaft. In case of cylindrical shafts, once again solid shafts, hollow shafts. So here are the cylindrical shafts. You can see this is a solid shaft. Totally there is no removal of the material in this case, and it is the solid shaft, solid cylindrical shaft, and whereas this is the hollow cylindrical shaft. That means there is a hole, and this will be the thickness, and here is the inner radius or inner diameter, and this will be the outer diameter. So this is that means the material is removed in this case. So let us see, this is the classification. Previously, so far we have discussed about the classification of shafts. Classification of shafts are classified based on the function and based on the physical appearance. Based on the function, they are classified into transmission shafts and spindles, machine shafts, and transmission shafts once again classified into jack shafts, line shafts, and then counter shafts, whereas in case of machine shafts, the examples are crankshafts, camshafts, and the spindles, etc. And according to the physical appearance, divided into cylindrical shafts and then spline shafts, and in case of cylindrical shafts, solid cylindrical shafts, hollow cylindrical shafts. So this is the classification of the shafts. Now let us see shaft materials. First of all, in order to use for the manufacture of shafts, what are the requirements of the shaft materials? See what are the requirements or the properties required for a shaft materials. So number one is the high strength. The shaft material should have high strength to withstand the various, that means forces are acting on the shaft, that means bending forces are there, transmission forces are there, and also sometimes axial forces are also there. So it should have high strength for and then good wear resistance also, because these are mounted between on the bearings. As these are going to be rotate, there is a possibility of wear between the, that means due to the friction between the bearing as well as the shaft material. Even though if you lubricate, there will be some friction between the lubricant as well as the shaft also. So there is a possibility of worn out, that means wearing. That's why it should have good wear resistance. Next is low notch sensitivity. If there is any notches are there is a possibility of failure at that point. So it should have low notch sensitivity. It should be low notch sensitivity. Now, so ability to be heated to improve that means the shaft material should be able to be heat treated, because if you want to improve the properties of materials, shaft material may be hardness, maybe strength also. If you want to relieve the any stresses are there. So for all these, it should be have ability to be heat treated and good machinability also. Right? These are the some of the requirement properties required for good shaft material. So you see, once again, the properties which are required for the good shaft material. Number one is the high strength. Number two is the good wear resistance. Number three is the low notch sensitivity. And next is ability to be heat treated. And next is good machinability. Right? So these are the properties required for shaft material. And how to? What are the materials? Here we are, depending on the requirements, shafts can be made of, generally they are made of plain carbon steel, and alloy steels also sometimes used if you want good properties, but most commonly used is plain carbon steels. Okay, so which are having, see, all commercial shafts are made of carbon steel, plain carbon steels having 0.25 to 0.54% of carbon. Right? So commercial shafts, all these are made out of plain carbon steel which is having the carbon percentage from 0.25 to 0.4%. And for high strength requirements and good wear resistance requirements, the alloy steels are used, such as here you see nickel alloy steels, nickel chromium alloy steels, and the chrome vanadium steels are used. For high strength requirements, alloy steels, that means nickel alloy steels, chrome alloy steels, and nickel chromium alloy steels, and also chrome vanadium alloy steels are used for high strength requirements. But whereas for commercial requirements, only plain carbon steels are used. And how to manufacture? See, along with the materials of plain carbon steels and alloy steels, sometimes cast iron also used. In case of sometimes also plastics are also used for shaft material, but not for large power transmission, but small power transmissions, we can use plastics sometimes, and also cast irons. And how to manufacture? These are manufactured, see, rolling process. Generally, they are manufactured by using either the hot rolling process or cold rolling process. Hot rolled shafts are turned to size and then finish. That means the shafts are manufactured by hot rolling process and then they are turned to the required size and then finish. Number one. Number two is also cold roll shafts. That means the shafts can be manufactured also by using cold rolling techniques. So, and the cold rolled shafts are stronger than hot rolled shafts, and they will possess a little bit residual stresses also. That means here, this is some drawbacks. So, and for special purposes, For special purposes, the shafts are forged. That means by using forging technique also, the shafts are manufactured. But commercial and generally we use either the hot rolling process or the cold rolling process. Among these cold rolling and hot rolling, cold rolled process shafts are processed, shafts are stronger, whereas hot rolled are somewhat weaker. So, but whenever you need a special purpose shafts, in such case we are going to use forging technique for manufacturing of the shafts. So you can see in case of shaft materials, there are the different properties are required, and also the materials are generally plain carbon steels for high strength requirements, alloy steels, and sometimes cast iron also. So plastics also used in just like in case of watches, etc. We use plastics as the shaft materials. So and then manufacturing generally the shafts are manufactured either the cold rolling or hot rolling, but in special cases they use forging technique. So the standard sizes of transmission shafts. So the size mainly depends on the shaft diameter. So let us see diameter of the shafts. Diameters of transmission shafts are given as if the diameter of the shaft is 25 mm to 60 mm with the 5 mm increments steps. That means 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then 60. That means each step will have, whenever you have calculated the shaft size, suppose it is the 26.7, then you have to go to adapt 30 mm shaft diameter. If it is the, say, 24, then you have to adapt 25. So suppose if it is the 51 something, then you have to go for 55. So like this, so that means 5 mm step increment is used for a shaft diameters ranges from 25 mm to 60 mm. Then 60 mm to 100 mm diameter steps will have 10 mm step. That means 10 mm increment. That means 60 mm, 70 mm, 80 mm, 90 mm, 100 mm, and 110 mm. Suppose if it is the diameter of the shaft is say 92.5 mm, then you have to adapt 100 mm diameter shaft. Okay, this is the 10 mm incremental step. Previously it is the 5 mm incremental step. Now it is the 10 mm incremental step. Now let us see 110 to 140 mm will have 15 mm step. That means 110, 125, and then 140. 110, 125, and 140 step. So like this, the increments are there, and last one is 140 to 500 mm diameter shafts having 20 mm steps. Having 20 mm steps. So here that means 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, 240, 260, 280, etc. up to, and so on. It is up to 500 mm. These are the different increments. That means the shaft diameters ranges in this way. That means 5 mm increment, 10 mm increment, 15 mm increment, and 20 mm increment. These are the different increments. That means these are the standard sizes of increments for the transmission shafts. So these are the diameters of the shafts: 25 to 60 mm, 5 mm step, then 60 to 110 mm, 10 mm step, 110 to 140 mm, 15 mm step, 140 to 500 mm, 20 mm step, and like this we are going to adapt standard sizes of the shaft diameter. And let us see the length of the shafts. Length of shafts. Generally, there is a difficulty in manufacturing long lengths. That means, so number one is manufacturing difficulties. Number two is transportation difficulties. That's why the length will be limited to, length of the shaft will be limited to 7 meters only. Majorly two difficulties. One is transportation difficulty. Number two is manufacturing difficulty. Because of these difficulties, they are limited the length of the shaft only 7 meters. That means it will be the naturally in the commercial shafts will be available only in 5-meter shafts, 6-meter shafts, and then 7-meter shafts. Only 3 steps of standard lengths of shafts are available commercially. So these are the standard sizes of the shafts. Next is stresses in the shafts. What are the stresses are induced? So far we have discussed so many things. What is meant by shafts? What are the applications of shafts and the classification of shafts and the materials of the shafts and manufacturing of the shafts and standard sizes of the shafts. And now last topic in this lesson is stresses in the shaft. The following stresses are induced in the shafts. Number one is shear stresses due to power transmission. That means torque transmission. That means due to the rotation, the torque is induced or twisting movement is there. Due to twisting movement of the torque, the shear torsional shear stresses are induced. The next is due to the mountings. Like gears and pulleys, it is subjected to bending stresses also. That may be the tensile stress or compressive stress due to force acting upon the machine elements like gears and pulleys, etc. And also sometimes due to the self weight also. Self weight of the shaft also. That means due to the mountings and due to the self weight, the shaft may be subjected to bending movement. Due to the bending movement, bending stresses are induced in the shafts. Right? So sometimes due to the rotation or the twisting movement or the torque and mountings and also self weight, the combination of both torsional and bending stresses also develop. That means due to the combination, mountings also and rotation, both torsional stresses and bending stresses will be developed due to the torsional load and bending loads. So this is the lesson. So far we have discussed whatever. Let us see the summary of this lesson, today's lesson. We have discussed so far general applications wherever we can use the shafts and various types of shafts also we have discussed so far, and what are the properties required for the shaft materials and what are the materials used for the shafts and shafts manufacturing also we have discussed so far, and the sizes of the shafts also, that means diameters as well as the lengths also we have discussed, and finally we have also discussed the stresses induced in the shafts. So let us see a simple quiz from the lesson, from this lesson. So materials used for high strength shafts: stainless steel, nickel chromium alloy steels, iron, and all the above. Whichever is the right answer. Here, high strength requirements. High strength requirements generally we use nickel chromium alloy steels. C. So B is the right answer. So right, next, what is the function of an axle? We had discussed in the starting itself, what is the shaft, what is the function of the shaft, what is the axle, what is the function of the axle, and what is the spindle, what is its function. Also we had discussed, and the difference also we had discussed so far. So from the introduction itself, that means axle, spindle, and shaft, the question is, what is the function of an axle? See, transmission of bending moment only, and transmission of torque only, transmission of both bending moment and torque only, and none of the above. Which is the right answer? As per the definition of the axle itself, it is a stationary member and it will support the rotating element, but it is not the rotating element. That's why it is not subjected to torque. Thereby, it is only supporting machine elements. Thereby, it is used to transmit only bending moments. So let us see the answer. A is the right answer. A is the right answer. So the axial function is to transmit only bending moment. So with this, we concluded our friends. We concluded today's lesson, the introduction to the shafts. In this, we discussed what is mean by shafts and what is mean by axle, what is mean by spindle, and also we discussed the classification of shafts, and also we discussed materials and their properties, and then materials also and manufacturing techniques for of the shafts, and also so far we have discussed stresses discussion. So thank you one and all.